Now the moment you've all been waiting for, the finalists of the 2025 Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon. Thank you again for all your hard work this weekend. We have loved watching all of your submissions and it's been really hard. So these are our top finalists in no particular order.
Based on the Fiji Sugar Corporation annual report in 2022, more than 12,000 smallholder sugarcane farmers in Fiji rely on cane as their primary source of income. Every second after the sugarcane is cut, it reduces its quality. Heat, low humidity, long waits for transport, all of these silently chip away at the sugar content. The longer the cane sits, the more it spoils. And when it finally reaches the mill, many farmers hear the same thing. Your cane is stale and you'll be paid less. You don't get to see how that's measured. They don't see the sugar content reading or the time logs or the conditions. They're left out of the decision that affects their income. And when trust is lost, farmers burn their cane just to speed things up, which only makes the problem worse. Once harvested, sugarcane should ideally be processed within 24 to 48 hours as sucrose starts degrading rapidly. In tropical climates like Fiji's, significant loss occurs after 72 hours and most mills reject cane after 7 days. 10% of farmers acknowledge that burning cane for ease of harvesting reduces sugar content. Yet, it's a widespread coping mechanism due to labor shortages and transport delays. Presenting SugarProof. SugarProof is a Bluetooth-enabled, rechargeable freshness scoring device. It's small, farmer-owned, and designed to give cane growers one thing: proof. Here's how it works. As soon as the farmer begins cutting and forming a pile, usually about 4.2 tons, they press the start button on the SugarProof device and place it toward the top of the heap. The device then begins logging critical environmental data for the next 20 minutes, stabilizing and reading the actual conditions around the sugarcane. It tracks the temperature using the DHT22 sensor, humidity also through the DHT22, the rate of the carbon dioxide emissions using the MQ135 gas sensor, and a real-time clock data using a precise RTC module. These 4 factors are used to calculate a freshness score, a number out of 100. The higher the score, the fresher the cane. The score is based on scientific relationships. Higher temperature and lower humidity speed up cane degradation. More CO2 means fermentation is starting, and the more time that passes, the worse the cane gets. After 20 minutes, the farmer simply connects to the device via Bluetooth. They press the stop button, which shuts the device off and instantly sends a PDF file to their phone thanks to the ESP32 microcontroller. This PDF includes the time the cane was cut and when the device was activated, a freshness score every hour between the start and stop time, environmental summaries including the temperature, humidity, and CO2 gas levels, and a final freshness score at delivery. It's lightweight, it doesn't need the internet, there's no app, just Bluetooth and a file. And for farmers who don't have phones, the device also includes a set of 3 LEDs, green for fresh, yellow for moderate, and red for stale. That way the farmer always has a quick visual guide to know if their cane is still in good condition. Inside, the device is powered by a rechargeable lithium-ion battery that can be charged via USB-C. It's built into a strong 3D printed casing with a rope clip so it can be easily placed into or pulled from a cane heap. The total cost of the components comes to around 25 Fiji dollars, making it affordable and field-ready. When the cane reaches the mill can validate using the same device, and the PDF can be used to confirm the quality when the cane was harvested versus when it reached the mill. This supports more accurate and transparent quality-based payments and gives farmers a real voice in how their product is judged. SugarProof directly addresses Challenge D of this hackathon by using low-cost, farmer-owned ICT to strengthen data transparency in food systems. It gives farmers control over their data, it allows them to negotiate fairly, it removes the guessing game from a process that affects livelihoods, and it contributes to SDG 2, Zero Hunger, by increasing income security for farmers, reducing waste from spoiled cane, and discouraging harmful practices like burning. No paper, no printer, no internet, just a simple box that tells the truth. If your cane is fresh, SugarProof proves it. If your payment doesn't match, SugarProof lets you ask why. Freshness you can prove, fairness you can demand. That's the future we're building with one button press at a time.
An incredibly detailed and thorough submission there from Team 63, Oceanic Innovators, a team made up of students from the University of the South Pacific. Well done, Team 63. Moving on to our second submission here from Team 34C, the innovation is from University of Sydney and UTS.
After spending the past few weeks in Indonesia, one thing has become unmistakably clear. This country runs on agriculture. 1/3 of its land is farmed and 1/3 of its people depend on it for their livelihoods. At the heart of it all is rice. Indonesia is the 3rd largest rice producer in the world, and yet its agricultural system is worryingly homogenous. Around 93% of Indonesian rice farmers occupy just 0.5 hectares, and most grow a single rice variety, Ciherang. While Ciherang offers high yields and reliable demand, this over-reliance has left farmers dangerously exposed. The lack of genetic diversity means that a single pest or disease can devastate entire regions. Take rice blast, for example, a fungal disease that in 2022 alone spread across 32,000 hectares in 33 provinces, wiping out up to 90% of harvests. Our challenge became clear. How can we introduce greater genetic diversity into rice farming in a sustainable way?
We focused on solving 3 key barriers. 1. Accessibility. Farmers need a simple, low-effort way to plant diverse rice varieties without complex training or new land requirements. 2. Adoptability. Any solution must build on farmers' existing knowledge, not replace it. They cannot risk abandoning familiar high-yield crops. Instead, small, gradual shifts encourage experimentation and early adoption. 3. Education. To create lasting change, we must engage future generations of farmers and consumers, instilling the value of genetic diversity and sustainable agriculture from a young age. This is where our solution Bivet comes in. Bivet is a simple, low-cost innovation. It consists of biodegradable sheets that are embedded with seeds of different native rice varieties. Farmers simply roll these sheets over rice paddy fields, instantly sowing a uniform field of genetic diversity. Indonesian rural households have extremely low literacy rates, so instead of teaching them through words or videos, we've printed simple images of how Bivet works and the benefits it brings onto the seed paper itself. Our aim is to reintroduce native heirloom rice seeds. These seeds can be saved and replanted every season, reducing input costs and reviving traditional farming autonomy. Additionally, Bivet can be made from accessible materials. An Indonesian study found that seed paper can be made from corn husk and bagasse, which supported seed germination and needed 60% less seed and actually increased yield by 20%. The paper doubles as a mulch layer, eliminating the need for weeding around plant shoots. To implement this, we contacted Recolto, an Indonesian NGO which already collaborates with heirloom seed producers across Indonesia. Together, we distribute the Bivet sheets to farmers with native heirloom varieties tailored to their region. Smallholder farms will be incentivized to adopt this program, as this allows a low-cost seed alternative that increases soil productivity and provides an additional source of revenue on top of the crop they already harvest.
But then comes the second problem. How do we ensure demand for these varieties will increase, and how do we end the cycle of harmful farming techniques? Well, I was able to talk to some Indonesian locals who highlighted one of the country's most pressing issues, malnourishment in schools. In response, the Indonesian government has launched a nationwide free school lunch program, aiming to reach 82.9 million children by 2029. While well-intentioned, early implementation produced ultra-processed meals, which has led to some cases of food poisoning and poor nutritional outcomes for students. This presents a powerful opportunity. By partnering with local farmers and this government initiative, we can integrate native and diverse rice varieties directly into school lunches. We can also give schools offcuts of the Bivet seed paper to try themselves. Not only would this improve children's health and nutritional intake, but it would also help them develop early awareness of genetic diversity in food systems. Over time, this approach could shift demand away from monocultures and high-yield cash crops toward more resilient, sustainable farming practices.
Effective. Research shows that such intercropping can reduce disease spread by up to 94% and increase yields by 10 to 20% without chemical inputs. In trials across Southeast Asia, mixed cropping systems have outperformed monocultures under extreme weather and pest stress. Bivet also doubles the nutritional value of their current rice diet. Current rice seed costs farmers roughly 80 cents per kilogram. Our seed sheets utilize natural resources, corn husk and bagasse, and local heirloom seed to cost just 42 cents per kilo. This represents over 53% of savings. Plus, heirloom seeds can be saved and replanted, slashing long-term costs further. Our intervention takes into account low literacy levels by visualizing instructions, whilst also using accessible natural materials. It helps support the government sustainability goals, meaning this innovation integrates smoothly with traditional Indonesian planting methods. The Bivet innovation empowers farmers to use seed sheets that are made using common natural materials. They can reuse best performing seeds each season, all while educating future generations on sustainable farming practices. The Bivet system uses only non-invasive, locally adopted heirloom seeds. By reinforcing existing farmer seed systems rather than replacing them, we promote regenerative agriculture without unintended social or ecological impacts. Thank you.
And another incredible submission there from the Innovationeers. Next, we're going to see from Team 66, Aidnova from UNSW.
Greeting everyone, we are proud to present Crop Choice Connect, a voice-based AI platform designed to empower Cambodian farmers with real-time market intelligence.
In Cambodia, small farmers who make up the backbone of the agriculture sector face a quadruple crisis. Extreme price volatility, especially in rice and vegetables, limited access to market data, often relying on word of mouth or middlemen, lower digital literacy, and insufficient infrastructure. These barriers keep farmers locked in cycles of poverty and independence. Our solution aligns strongly with global development priorities. Crop Price Connect directly supports SDG 2, that is zero hunger, by promoting sustainable agriculture through timely price access and planning tools. It also supports SDG 1, SDG 5, and SDG 9, making it scalable and equitable and tech-forward intervention.
Let's visualize the current reality. Farmers often sell their crops well below market value because they simply don't know what the real price is. Middlemen exploit the gap. Disinformation, asymmetry create market power distributed, forcing reactive and often poor decision making.
Our solution, Crop Price Connect, bridges this gap. It's a voice-first, AI-powered market advisory system tailored for Cambodian farmers. It's accessible from any basic mobile phone in Maro language with no internet needed. The system delivers real-time price and forecast real-time price and crowdsourced data reporting. Even offline areas are covered with USSD menus and community radios. Our solution is where we get real-time market prices so they know what their crops are worth before they negotiate. AI-powered price forecasting enables them to plan sales more strategically, and crowdsourced data reporting, where farmers contribute and validate local price together, making the system smarter and more trusted over time.
Here's how it works, step by step. A farmer dials our toll-free number. They interact via a simple voice menu. Within seconds, they receive updates price of the forecast in audio form. For area with poor signal, we provide offline options like USSD and radio broadcast, ensuring every voice counts literally. We built this on a robust, scalable tech stack. Voice accessible Twitter, IVR, and USSD. Layer forecast using Profit and XGBoost. The backend, we use Google Cloud, FastAPI, and PostgreSQL. Data validation through multi-source triangulation and regional human validators.
Data collection and validation strategy. Accuracy builds trust. So we built a 4-tier validation pipeline, which is farmer-submitted price reports, weekly validator reviews, integration with institutional data sets, and consensus scoring algorithm to confirm verified market prices.
Let's look at the impact journey of a typical user. For uncertainty, to calling a crop price, to receiving market data, to confidently negotiating price, and ultimately securing a higher income. This platform transforms passive sellers into empowered entrepreneurs.
Traction and roadmap. Our roadmap is clear and achievable. So at phase 1, we pilot with 500 farmers in Kyoto province. And phase 2, we add AI forecasting, validated dashboards, and gender-specific voice menus. And in phase 3, we monetize B2B buyer subscriptions. And in phase 4, we integrate microcredit with crop insurance with partners with Vision Fund. In financial projection, financially we are built for sustainability. At just 15,000 users, we reach break-even in 18 months. Our revenue system includes buyer subscriptions, transaction fees of 0.5 to 1%, API licensing to NGOs and governments, regional sponsorship for validators. We project profitability within 24 to 30 months.
What sets crop price apart? voice-based accessibility, no smartphone literally needs, human value forecast, Cambodia's resilient design, local language, social norm, gender inclusion, and a strong commitment to ethical data practice, with OBT in sharing and IRB approval. Cambodian specific adaptations, 92% mobile penetration, works on basic phones, no internet needed, USSD fallback and community radio, voice first more language interface, low learning curve, cultural alignment, and community rollout. The ethical commitment is do not harm policy, IRB approved privacy, transparent AI, human led and assisted, and aligned with UN AI goals. Why invest in us? Because this is a proven high impact investment opportunity. Similar interventions have shown 68% profit growth for farmers. Cambodia's mobile coverage is over 92%, and 73% of citizens depend on agriculture. With Crop Choice Connect, we unlock a high potential market while delivering social good at scale. We believe in technology that empowers, not employs. Thank you for your time, and we are the team at NOVA from USW.
Thank you, Team Aid Nova. Next, we're moving on to see the submission from Team 52, Laura Kao, made up from students of the University of Melbourne and Monash University.
Papua New Guinea, a mountainous and densely forested country rich in biodiversity, is currently tackling a food insecurity issue. The 2024 Global Hunger Index classified Papua New Guinea as facing a serious hunger issue, with over a quarter of its people being chronically undernourished. 1 in 13 children will die before their 5th birthday. The leading cause? Severe malnourishment. So, what's actually causing the problem? You see, 85% of the population live in rural parts of the country, relying on their own farming for food. But there's a problem. With the lack of accessible and real-time information, household farmers are finding it difficult to access accurate and reliable farming advice. Our solution is Tropica.
With a basic feature phone costing as little as $20, farmers from small household growers all the way to large regional producers can sign up to Tropica, an AI-integrated digital application gathering real-time weather, soil, and disease data alongside agricultural stock levels and market price information through a network of sensors and local community reports to provide actionable insights to farmers that are in line with traditional knowledge. Users automatically sign up to an SMS-based messaging system, receiving timely updates in Tok Pisin, Hirimotu, and English about upcoming weather risks, market changes, and best practices. No internet required. Alternatively, our platform also provides users with curated agricultural learning resources, written and led by local elders and experts, covering sustainable practices and traditional methods. We amplify awareness of traditional techniques such as slash-and-burn agriculture, which have sustained communities for 10,000 years, integrating them into our AI's framework, forming the basis of our advice.
Our system is affordable. 7 in 10 people in Papua New Guinea are already within mobile coverage. Using SMS messaging, farmers don't have to rely on connection speeds just to find help or to be alerted with important notifications for strong weather and disease outbreaks. A sensor, which costs as little as $4 or around 16 kina, is installed into soil or critical areas like water sources to provide updated measures such as soil moisture, pH, or water salinity. We built the sensor using a wireless GSM module, sending SMS reports to the user using a SIM card, and then connecting it to various sensors. The design is small and compact, and is encased in a weatherproof casing that can be created out of recycled plastics. Community-driven use forms the core of our solution. Trusted local representatives, such as church leaders, will be the first to be introduced to our system. With the representatives, we encourage the acceptance of digital technologies by local residents. Educational campaigns will be organised and led by these trusted local community leaders in co-development with farmers, experts, and government.
Step by step, we bring timely access to crucial information and ultimately more food to families, not by rewriting tradition, but by equal engagement with all community members. Tropica directly supports the United Nations Sustainable Goal 2, Zero Hunger, and more specifically, Target 2.8, ensuring food commodity markets and timely access to information. With real-time market and agricultural stock updates, Tropica matches buyers with suppliers, leveling the playing field for all members of the community, ensuring equal access to fair market prices of produce and that no single person is left behind. But this isn't just a short-term solution. Tropica is built to last. By co-development with key community members at every stage and funding through government subsidy and NGO contribution, Tropica ensures financial and operational sustainability for the long term. Tropica is how we build a hunger-free future, one connection, one crop, one community at a time.
Thank you, Laura Kao. So next we're moving on to Team 25 MATH, made up of students from the University of Sydney.
Kiribati is a low-lying nation of atolls and reef islands, remaining just 1 to 3 meters above sea level. As climate change worsens, so do rising seas, saltwater intrusion and droughts, leaving sandy saline soil and little fresh water. Farming is difficult. Imported fertilizers are costly, so most food is imported, leaving communities vulnerable to supply disruptions. Kiribati's food insecurity will only worsen without intervention, yet they still grow breadfruit, sweet potato, pumpkin, and coconut despite the climate. To make a larger-scale production of Kiribati's crops more economically viable, our team developed Iron Soil Revival, a sustainable low-tech innovation for larger-scale producers that transforms local resources into a climate-resilient farming system. We integrated 3 overlooked assets: abundant sunlight, organic bio-waste, and deep local knowledge to rebuild productivity. Our approach combines 2 proven nature-based technologies: biochar kilns, which converts organic waste into fertile soil amendments, and microbioelectrosynthesis, MES, which harnesses solar energy to restore soil health and improve nutrient availability.
The technical explanation of our approaches are as following. The biochar kilns, made from recycled oil drums and scrap metal, convert agricultural waste such as coconut husks into porous biochar that improves soil structure and water retention dramatically. The biochar is then crushed and soaked before mixing approximately 1 to 2 kilograms per meter square into the top 10 to 15 centimeters of soil around the plant roots, revitalizing the soil's capacity to support crops. Our second approach, solar-powered MES reactors, use compost tea, lagoon water, and local microbes inside a sealed plastic container fitted with graphite rods and a solar panel. A mild electrical current activates microbes to produce a nutrient-rich liquid fertilizer within 7 to 14 days, which is diluted with water and applied at plant bases every 1 to 2 weeks to promote healthy growth. Using biochar and MES biofertilizer together is far more effective than using either on its own. While biochar improves soil structure and water retention, it lacks sufficient nutrients by itself. MES biofertilizer delivers rich nutrients and beneficial microbes, but without a stable soil environment, its effects can be short-lived. When combined, biochar acts as a long-term reservoir, holding moisture, nutrients, and microbes in place, while MES activates and sustains microbial life. Together, they create a fertile living soil system that supports healthier plants and more resilient agriculture over time.
The system is especially well suited to Kiribati and other lower resource island environments because it supports drought-resistant crops like papaya, breadfruit, pumpkin, sweet potato, cassava, and more, staple foods naturally adapted to local climate and challenging soils. Designed for accessibility, we will offer low-cost starter kits that support up to 100 to 150 meters squared per cycle and include all components with clear, easy-to-follow instructions. These kits remove technical barriers and provide farmers with tools that are easy to implement and maintain. With setup costs under $45, the system is highly affordable for larger-scale producers and LMICs, with low input costs of just 30 to 45 cents per meter squared. This is less than half the cost of imported fertilizers, which can exceed $1 per square meter in Kiribati. In addition, its modular design allows producers to scale up gradually, and even begin fabricating components locally using available materials. This builds community ownership and long-term independence. Because the system relies entirely on recycled organic waste, solar energy, and native microbes, it not only improves soil fertility and food security, but also reduces import dependencies, strengthens local food markets, and keeps more money circulating within the island economy.
Island Soil Revival goes beyond being a simple agricultural product. By combining natural resources, local microbes, abundant sunlight, and organic waste, the system transforms depleted, nutrient-poor soil into a living, fertile foundation, capable of supporting reliable food production. It's a low-tech intervention designed specifically for Kiribati, supporting larger-scale producers while remaining flexible enough to be replicated and adapted at virtually any scale. As multiple kits are deployed, they foster cooperative efforts among producers and communities, creating networks of shared knowledge and resources that multiply the impact of soil restoration and food security efforts. So, what does this mean? Island Soil Revival offers a self-sufficient, scalable pathway to agricultural resilience. It's built with the people it serves, empowering them to meet current and future climate challenges with confidence and independence. Kiribati will be replacing vulnerability with self-sufficiency and degradation with regeneration. And don't let it escape you, Island Soil Revival has the potential to become zero import, zero waste, and zero fossil fuel farming. Powered by science, owned by communities, and ready to scale.
That brings us to the midway point of our submissions that have made it through to the short list. So congratulations so far. Keep tuning in to see if your team is in the next 5 that we watch. So Team 90 is the next one. 640 Pep Hours is the team name, made up of students from the University of Sydney.
Hello, we are Team 90, also known as 640 PEP. My name is Stephen, and I am joined by my other group members, Luke and Adiraj. For this hackathon, we have chosen to tackle Challenge D. Challenge D looks at developing an informational platform that farmers of low and medium income countries can access to help make choices surrounding crop growth and where to sell them.
We are focused on East Africa, where over 65% of the population relies on agriculture for their livelihoods. Yet farmers face significant barriers, including price volatility, climate-driven weather instability, and limited access to timely crop information. Climate change has caused over a 50% increase in drought frequency in the region over the past 2 decades. Meanwhile, the cost of farm inputs like fertilizers have doubled since 2020, squeezing smaller household profits. Although mobile phone ownership is high, with over 85% of males and 75% of women owning a phone, literacy remains at just 67%, and only 23% of rural households have reliable internet access. Bixme is offline and visually accessible tools essential for empowering farmers with real-time crop and market insights.
Our proposed solution combines machine learning with physical construction of solar-powered digital bulletin boards to support better farming decisions in East Africa. The model analyzes upcoming local weather conditions on a monthly basis to recommend the best crops to plant. The data is displayed on both an ASX-inspired website and streamed to the digital bulletin boards placed in key community locations such as villages and markets. This approach responds directly to East Africa's high phone ownership, long crop cycles, and high illiteracy rates. Both the board and website will present easy-to-understand crop values and predicted trends using visual symbols and accessible formats, helping farmers plan more effectively for the future. The platform supports not just individual decision-making, but also benefits cooperatives, NGOs, and local government by providing centralized, reliable data to align agricultural support services.
Our website platform, which is inspired by our ASX, shows real-time crop prices, trends, and regional analysis. By constantly reviewing the market data, weather, and machine learning, it will pull information for farmers, which show predictions for prices and supply and demands of crops in increments of months. The usage of icon-driven, color-coded displays and local language audio messages ensures the content is culturally appropriate and inclusive.
Board-wise, the solar aspect of the design is responsive to East Africa's high solar irradiance, allowing it to generate a good amount of solar energy for sustainable use. The frame will be made from powder-coated aluminium for corrosion resistance and heat-resistant durability. The main feature is a slanted solar panel-covered roof for rain resistance to the main area of the board. Stainless steel rods attached underneath the structure will anchor it to the ground to prevent movement from external forces.
Our user experience design focuses on practicality and integration into farmers' daily routines. The website prioritizes the most important information, such as crop prices and weather warnings, at the top of the interface, reducing the need for scrolling or searching. The system is designed for quick, glance-based use, ideal for busy farmers who may only have a few moments during the day to check updates.
Our implementation task will be a strategic partnership with Digital Green, a trusted organization already empowering farmers to localize adversary tools such as the AI chatbot. With existing partnerships including Microsoft and the Ethiopian government, Digital Green brings both technological credibility and on-ground experience, making them an ideal parent company for our solution. Our system has 2 components: the digital bulletin board installed in central town areas, offering local farmers visual, real-time crop and market insights. These require only one-time installation and minimum ongoing maintenance. Also, a centralized web platform will mirror and aggregate this data, providing dynamic market trends and price transparencies to organizations, cooperatives, and policymakers. Digital Green's AI system can leverage this ecosystem to develop personalized, context-specific advice, closing the information gap and boosting food security across East Africa.
Going forward maintenance-wise, the digital board is designed for longevity, requiring minimal upkeep due to its durable construction and solar self-sufficiency. Regular remote updates to the software and data models will be managed through partnerships with local telecoms and NGOs.
In terms of expansion, while the current focus is East Africa, Digital Green already operates in 4 countries, creating a strong foundation. However, expansion depends on the availability of reliable local crop, climate, and market data. With continued support, the platform can be gradually rolled out across other regions facing similar agricultural challenges.
Board-wise, the solar aspect of the design is responsive to East Africa's high solar irradiance, allowing it to generate a good amount of solar energy for sustainable use. The frame will be made from powder-coated aluminium for corrosion resistance and heat-resistant durability. The main feature is a slanted solar panel-covered roof for rain resistance to the main area of the board. Stainless steel rods attached underneath the structure will anchor it to the ground to prevent movement from external forces.
Some pep hours going to great use there. Thank you, 640 Pep. Moving on now to Team 67, team named Strawberry, made up of students from the University of New South Wales.
Across wide stretches of farmland, prices fluctuate and the land itself feels unpredictable. Food products in local markets are vulnerable to price volatility, a persistent pressure on low and middle income producers. Those market fluctuations hit directly at smallholder profitability. The margin for error is razor thin. Small producers experience thin and fragile margins when shocks ripple through commodity chains. Behind this single scene, persistent multiple burdens of malnutrition, hundreds of millions are still hungry, more than 2 million with micronutrition deficiency, and over 2 billion are overweight or obese, while about 500 million farms are under 2 hectares, and the vast majority of the world's farms are very small, which concentrates both vulnerability and transformative potential. Smallholder farmers are central to ending hunger, yet a convergence of shock, volatile farm gate prices, climate disruptions, rising imports, pests, and weak bargaining power can erase already slender margins and push households into poverty. Because they are simultaneously producers and consumers, a bad season or a mistimed sale hits both income and nutrition. Providing timely, trusted market and agronomic intelligence is a direct, high-leverage intervention for global food security, not a peripheral add-on. The strategic gap is last-mile inclusivity, enabling timely, comprehensible, trusted, and differential decision intelligence on what to plant, how to diversify, and when to sell, directly supporting the Sustainable Development Goal mandate for stable food commodity markets and timely access to market information to help limit extreme price volatility. AgriGrow is a shared solar-powered information point in the social heart of the community, combining large icon-based multilingual audio-enabled interface, catch local data snapshots, and concise daily summary boards while synchronizing whenever a signal is available, so even non-smartphone users receive actionable guidance on crop mix options, localized weather and pest alerts, and sale timing prompts, drawing on information and communication technologies already proven to extend market connectivity for small producers. Incoming streams include verified market price feeds, meteorological forecasts, and historical seasonal patterns, which feed a lightweight analytical layer that blends rule-based screening with multiple simple regression chain components to generate diversification suggestions, gross margin differentials, hold or sell window alerts, and risk flags, which are then spread simultaneously via the kiosk interface. Printed board snapshots, structured SMS, mini summaries, and radio scripts to help reach heterogeneous farmer segments and document differentiated adoption pathways. AgriGo embodies humanitarian engineering in one coherent design. It is effective because there is a direct cause thread from timely verified multi-source information to change planting, diversification, and stage selling decisions. Affordable through shared infrastructure, reused tablets, and small solar units that drive per farmer costs down to a fraction of $1. Appropriate via co-design of language, pictograms, audio, placement, and local governance. sustainable through trained community stewards, modular recycled components, and a blended financing mix, and it does no harm by building accessible minimal personal data capture and transparent advisory labeling into the core. We reuse wiped tablets or small computers, power them with a compact solar panel and durable battery, shelter them in a sturdy recyclable plastic or bamboo housing, and give farmers big tactile picture buttons. Students build sprint assembled test and stress check units, converting e-waste into resilient community assets while bulk test bundles. Light steward training and a tiny cooperative fee covers recurring costs.
Thank you to Team Strawberry there. So a reminder that sometimes our students are put in teams where they haven't even yet met their fellow teammates. So with this one, we welcome Team 54 Small Beans, made up from students of Griffith University, University of Melbourne and University of Sydney.
Farmers in low and middle income countries play a vital role in feeding their communities. However, they often face unpredictable weather, volatile market prices, and limited access to reliable information. These challenges lead to unstable incomes, food insecurity, and insufficient farming practices. Without timely guidance on what crops to grow and when to sell them, many farmers remain trapped in cycles of poverty and vulnerability. To truly end hunger, achieve food security, and promote sustainable agriculture, farmers must have the right tools to make informed decisions for their land. This means creating accessible, localized information systems that help them choose climate-resistant crops, manage resources sustainably, and connect to markets where they can sell at fair prices. Doing so directly supports Target 2.8 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, ensuring stable food commodity markets and timely access to information.
In sub-Saharan Africa, farmers lack access to climate technologies. Due to this, they often continue to use highly outdated production techniques, with more than 95% of crops being heavily reliant on rain-fed production. Such techniques are becoming increasingly inefficient with the rise of erratic temperature and rainfall patterns brought by climate change. This causes inefficient food production, increased food waste, and therefore an exacerbation of food insecurity and climate change. As a result, sub-Sahara has become the leading continental region in malnutrition, with 1 in 3 people suffering from undernourishment. Additionally, only 27% of rural sub-Saharan citizens have phone access, with the majority of communities relying on radios or television for information. Agricultural production is primarily facilitated through highly localized farms among communities. Information among a village is mostly spread through a community leader who has the most access to these technologies. To ensure our proposed solution can be trusted and effectively adopted within these regions, establishing a bond with community leaders is critical to bridge cultural gaps and foster local acceptance.
Utilizing the strong network, we will employ ambassadors, building a strong relationship between these community leaders and our central firm, eventually connecting us with our demographic of small, low-income farmers. Subsequently, information regarding the farmer's location, arable land, and production costs will be acquired through an onboarding questionnaire. Following this, the farmers will be able to contact an AI chatbot, either through their community leader or their personal device, that provide real-time answers concerning soil topography, mineral content, weather conditions, comprehensive pest awareness, and prognostic warnings in respect to natural disasters. Such considerations are relevant to farmers as these conditions are ever-changing and unstable due to climate change, and thus the potential for crop growth and fluctuates. Over time, this information will be used to create predictive models and analyze via Jamovi analysis to provide insight into future trends to further inform farmers of risk factors. This information will be gathered via satellite data. Additionally, combined use of AI and the market network will be used to provide farmers with an estimated time and price as to when their crop should be sold and at what price, instilling confidence within the farmers in their current financial stability.
The central firm aggregates smallholder farmers' production forecast, and to guarantee farmers a minimum price, the firm itself buys put options on a future exchange or to large corporations for the aggregated crop volume. These puts give the firms the right, but not the obligation, to sell futures contracts at a predetermined strike price set just above farmers' break-even cost after harvest. If market prices fall below the strike price at expiry, the firm exercises the puts, selling the futures contracts at the guaranteed higher price. It then buys the farmer's physical crop at that price and delivers it against the futures contracts, securing the minimum price for farmers. If prices stay above the strike, the firm lets the put expire and the farmers sell their crop at the higher market price. The firm's premium costs are covered through an innovative blended financing approach. Farmers contribute 5% by sales deductions or membership fees, while corporate buyers subsidize 40% as a supply chain investment to secure stable pricing. Governments and donors provide 30% in grants for staple crops, complemented by impact investor loans repaid post-harvest. The remaining 25% is recovered contingently, only when farmers achieve surplus earnings above guaranteed prices. The firm further sustains operations through strategic margins, for example, purchasing crops at slight discounts and profit sharing during market upswings. Flexible payment mechanisms, including warehouse receipt, collateralized loans, and pay only when profitable structures ensure affordability while minimizing default risk. This multi-stakeholder model creates a self-reinforcing ecosystem where public and private actors share risk and rewards, enabling scalable protection for smallholder farms without financial strain. The firm purchases parametric insurance as well, a policy that automatically pays out based on objective objective, measurable triggers such as rainfall levels, satellite vegetation data, or temperature thresholds, rather than actual crop losses to further protect against risk. If the predefined indexes, such as 30% below average rainfall, is reached during the growing season, farmers instantly receive a payout. This ensures rapid financial relief for climate-related shocks such as droughts and floods, allowing farmers to replant or recover without delays. Unlike traditional insurance, parametric coverage relies on transparent third-party data such as weather stations or satellite imagery, eliminating fraud risk and administrative costs while enabling scalable protection across the whole region.
To scale efficiently, the firm will leverage satellite data APIs and blockchain smart contracts for automated payouts, while buying strategic partnerships with governments, corporate buyers, and reinsurers to expand into new emerging markets. Modular tiered insurance and price guarantee products will allow flexible adoption, and farmers' self-service tools like localized SMS advisory, reducing operational costs. By bundling risk portfolios into securitized instruments such as climate-resistant bonds for established exchanges, the firm can attract institutional capital. To broaden the agricultural aspect of the firm, we can diversify the types of farmers we support, including dairy or even livestock farmers. This solution strengthens climate resilience and nutrition in sub-Saharan Africa by equipping small farmers with AI advisories and price guarantees. It enables cultivation of nutrient-rich crops while mitigating market and climate risk. Stable pricing through futures contracts and integration with established supply chains ensures reliable income for farmers and consistent food access, simultaneously combating malnutrition and climate vulnerability.
Thank you to Small Beans. All right, just 2 spots left in our top 10. So next, let's see Team 92, the Drunk Monkeys from University of Sydney and UNSW.
We will attempt to solve the problem of food genetic diversity in the Philippines. We propose a climate-smart aquaponics solution. Let's dive into it. Meet Louise. Louise is a small-scale rice farmer from the Philippines who relies on all his rice harvests to feed his family and earn a living. However, effects of climate change, frequent typhoons, and declining soil fertility has decimated his recent rice yields, while the inability to grow indigenous vegetables had led to reduced crop diversity on his farm. Around the world, 75% of the calories we consume come from only 9 species, making local food systems monoculture and vulnerable to crop failures and climate shocks, particularly in low and middle income countries. As a result, due to falling rice yields, Louise and his family are now facing food insecurity and are increasingly at risk of malnutrition. There's an urgent need for scalable farm interventions to ensure genetic diversity in the local food system.
To help combat this, we have decided to implement an aquaponics system to improve the diversity of their diet while being sustainable and affordable. Our aquaponics system allows for a broader range of vegetables that don't thrive well in poor soil to be grown, increasing genetic diversity. This system uses up to 90% less water and uses solar power and wind turbines to power it, reducing energy use. We have chosen to use tilapia and catfish, both able to sustain the growing needs of a diverse range of indigenous leafy greens like amaranth and kangkong, along with other non-indigenous vegetables as shown in this table. By doing so, it reduces the dependence on monoculture rice and increases the genetic diversity of plants grown for food. This system is appropriate for the Philippines since it was observed that the average household's daily food intake primarily consists of rice 35.7%, vegetables 14.5%, and fish 10.8%, allowing both the vegetables and fish to be easily incorporated into their diet. Here can be seen the variety of nutrients that vegetables grown from this system can provide.
Our bamboo aquaponics system uses popular fish like tilapia and catfish in a water tank. Another bed of water is elevated above the water tank and contains iron-rich native vegetables, such as water spinach or bok choy, growing in beds above. In the lower tank, the waste from the fish creates nutrient-rich water. An attached solar-powered pump pumps the nutrient-rich water up to the plants, which absorb and filter it before it returns to the fish, creating a closed-loop, water-efficient system. This is built with local bamboo, making it cheap, affordable, easy to use, and easy to replace. It also makes the tanks easily scalable, depending on the needs of the village. Attached is a small device that monitors the water quality and indicates on a small LCD screen what the water quality is like and if the water needs to be replaced. The device is controlled by an ESP32 microcontroller, which is small, cheap, and has the power to control its several peripherals. It is powered by 4 AA batteries because it makes the system reliable even in low sunlight conditions, and the device uses minimal power so they won't need replacing often. These peripherals include an EC sensor, a TDS sensor, a water temperature sensor, and a pH.
Our solution aligns with the UN Sustainable Development Goals of SDG 2, ending hunger and achieving food security, where climate-resilient food production are provided for farmers to grow diverse indigenous vegetables and fish, reducing reliance on staple crops. SDG 13 of climate action, using renewable bamboo and water efficiently, and leveraging solar panel for sustainable operations. SDG 12 of using responsible consumption production, inclusive of traditional cultural practices, promoting diverse indigenous plants, and inclusive of religious dietary requirements. And SDG 3 of nutrition, by growing nutritious iron-rich indigenous vegetables and fish free from harmful chemicals, we improve dietary diversity and reduce malnutrition.
A typical aquaponics system usually costs between $300 and $2,000. Our system, however, only costs around $150, a massive 50% to 90% cost reduction. How did we achieve that? Well, we used eco-friendly materials such as bamboo, renewable energy like solar energy, and cheap processing power such as the ESP32 chip. As for funding, there are NGOs offering training, grants, and technical assistance. There are also microcredit and microfinance institutions, government programs, crowdfunding, and cooperatives. Our system can further be extended to all parts of Southeast Asia, especially given the tropical climate, the availability of resources, plenty of funding, and the growing demands and pressing issues of the market.
Lewis's story is just one of many across Southeast Asia farmers struggling to feed their families as climate change threatens their livelihoods. Reliable, smart bamboo aquaponics provides a sustainable, scalable solution that helps farmers like Lewis afford to grow nutritious food and build resilience year-round. Together we can ensure farmers stay fed, communities stay strong, and agriculture remains a force for climate change adaptation in the Philippines and beyond.
Don't get too drunk, monkeys. Hot on your heels is Team 64, Proani, with students from the Australian National University and the University of Sydney.
Meet Adi Santoso, a young farmer in Nusa Tenggara Timur, Indonesia. With a heart full of hope, Adi dives into farming, dreaming of a bright future. But Adi has little experience. He plants the wrong crops at the wrong time and is unsure of the weather or market demand. Over time, his crops begin to fail. Just when things seem hopeless, a kind businessman approaches Adi. He tells Adi that he is not alone. In fact, Nusa Tenggara Timur is one of the driest and most vulnerable provinces in Indonesia. Many areas experience 7 to 8 months of drought per year. Unexpected variability of weather exposure has reduced the number of working hours of farms employed by 4.7% per standard deviation. This is an issue that requires urgent intervention, as 70% of Indonesian farmers are aging, and how the younger farmers cope with changing climate could determine food supply in the near future. The solution to this? Introducing Proani, from rice to riches. Tani or petani meaning farmer in Indonesian. Proani is designed by 3 students, Gali, Rafi, and Ella, with an aim to empower farmers like Adi. Proani is an app with 3 main features. First, smart crop planning. Second, farming reminders and risk management. And lastly, selling platform.
Here's a first look at Proani, our smart farming assistant. On the home screen, farmers are greeted with a monthly weather forecast, a critical tool for planning around changing climate conditions. Below that are crop selling recommendations. These are based on real-time market prices, demand trends, and seasonality, so farmers can know when to sell certain crops to maximize profits, allowing them to make the most out of their harvest. And lastly, a section recommending what crops to start growing now according to imminent weather patterns and the forecasted price at the time of harvest. In this example, it seems like corn is a generally consistent crop and will likely thrive in the upcoming weather, but we should start planting early so that we can sell off the harvest before that massive drop in March. These tools are here to simplify decision-making and replace costly guesswork with smart, data-backed advice. Next, we also offer a tracker that can help farmers stick to a schedule. You'll see here reminders for planting, fertilizing, and watering, all based on crop lifecycle and local weather. Instead of tracking everything manually, Proani also sends alerts directly to the farmer's phone, like a virtual assistant, helping them stay consistent throughout the season. Like here, we are notified of a risk of flooding in the near future. However, without a clear plan, this warning alone won't be enough to protect farmers from potential loss. Fortunately, Proani's advice section offers practical guidance, including a dedicated guide on how to prepare for and respond to imminent floods. Beyond that, the section provides general farming advice to boost efficiency, tips for managing business and market challenges, and essential information about farming insurance, which helps mitigate heavy uncontrollable risk, such as the damages caused by flooding. All this content is distilled from decades of agricultural research and industry expertise, now made accessible and easy to understand, ensuring that even farmers who previously lacked access to this knowledge can now benefit from it directly. Lastly, Proani helps farmers sell smarter, not harder. Through our built-in marketplace, farmers can list their available crops along with an opening price. Buyers from across Indonesia can then place bids, and the system automatically accepts the best available offer, allowing farmers to extend their reach throughout Indonesia while still ensuring competitive pricing without constant negotiation.
To support our selling feature, Proani will set up kiosks in key village markets across Indonesia. These kiosks serve as harvest drop-off points where we handle logistics and delivery, easing the load for farmers. They also provide access to Proani's services for those with limited internet, assisted by trained staff. Additionally, kiosks act as outreach hubs to introduce Proani to new users and ensure it reaches the farmers who need it most.
This way, Proani can be accessible to both independent farmers as well as farming communities. It is an effective, appropriate, sustainable, harmless, and affordable solution, only needing access to a device and internet. With Proani by his side, Adi begins to farm with confidence. Adi's story is just the beginning. Proani is more than an app. It is a movement to uplift farmers, turning rice into riches.
Hi, we're from Nibbang, a team of 4 which consists of me, Hastria, Elina, Farhan, and Devo. In this occasion, we would like to present our solution to tackle the topic A problem, which is meeting the nutritional needs of women and girls to reduce anemia. For decades, anemia has remained one of the most pressing health issues in Indonesia. This condition, marked by a deficiency of red blood cells or hemoglobin, is primarily caused by insufficient iron intake. In 2020, the prevalence of anemia among young women in Indonesia reached 39.1%. In Temanggung, a small city in central Java, which is also my hometown, the rate is even higher at 42.1%. Apparently, hemoglobin plays a vital role in transporting oxygen throughout the body. When its levels are low, it can lead to fatigue, shortness of breath, decreased physical performance, and more. To address this, the government has implemented several programs, including iron supplement distribution, free nutritious meals, and health campaign targeting iron deficiency and anemia awareness. However, based on my direct experience, both as participants and organizer of these campaigns, the engagement remains low. Many events rely on one-way information delivery, which often fails to capture attention. Moreover, existing programs rarely focus on young girls, who are among the most vulnerable groups. That is why we developed a solution designed to make learning about anemia fun, engaging, and accessible, especially for young females. Our project aims to bridge the gap between information and impact. Feeding Sehat. We love playing board games. Other than fun, it stimulates us as the player to really understand the game, which makes it a good media for learning things. Thus, we believe this is one of the best ways to educate young girls about the importance of balanced diet to prevent anemia. Targeting the young females in Indonesia, specifically in Temanggung, we aim to deliver the program in such a fun way.
Our game is built around 3 core card types that secretly teach the fundamentals of a balanced iron-rich meal. First, we have iron cards, representing local foods like tempe. We use simple point system to show that some foods are better iron sources than the others. Next, the energy cards, which represents the carbohydrate that we need to gain energy from like corn, rice, and cassava, which also have points in it. And then we also have the enhancer card, which represent the vitamin C rich foods like daun kelor and guava. And this type of card is the secret to winning the game. It will give a huge point bonus, and it will also add some mechanics to the game. To make it more interesting, the game is not about just collecting food. To make it a real game, we add some game-changing cards. The action card, fate, and special cards. The action cards let you disrupt your opponents, adding fun and competitive interaction like switching the blades or trading some cards. And then the fate cards give you a boost. It can be for you or for all the players. And then the last one is a special card, which is only a iron supplement card that only available in local health clinic or puskesmas, which can teach them that the local puskesmas is already have a powerful supplement that can fulfill the need of iron. The board, it represents a village that have several places that are common in our society. The community garden will be the heart of the game. We choose this because we want to promote the message of self-sufficiency to not depend on the market, but to grow our own food. And then there's still a village market which can offer special items, while the coffee shop is the place where you can pick the fate and action card. We choose coffee shop because coffee and caffeine is known as an inhibitor of iron absorption. And then there's a clinic or puskesmas which can give you the special card, the iron supplement card. So how does it all come together? It's simple. The main goal is to score the most nutrition points, and you do this by arranging the nutrition plates, which consists of one iron, energy, and enhancer card. And then when it's your turn, you only have to roll, move, and take action based on where you land. And then the game ends after 7 rounds, which represents 7 days of a week. And then the player which has a higher score at the end of the day will be crowned the nutrition master and the winner of the game. To promote our game, we will utilize existing village infrastructure like classroom, playgroups, or study groups, and also the community gathering, where children are already gathered around in one place, and then we can just play the game. And then to measure the effectiveness of our game, we will use the Kobo toolbox for pre- and post-game surveys to measure the immediate increase in nutritional knowledge. Then, for long-term impact, we will follow up with a village representative to monitor if the game is still being played and gather feedback. This will make our solution better and not just effective, but sustainable.
Kyoto. So for our initiative, we have Fee for Her. We're UC team lead. My name is John Ray, joined by Wyston and Analsa. So here, we're trying to introduce dietary change to reduce anemia for women and girls in the Solomon Islands. Our solution revolves around universal initiative that collates community gardens, educational programs, and cooking lessons to tackle anemia for women and girls. Here, why do we pick Solomon Islands specifically? So on the right-hand side, we have the Global Nutrition Report 2022, and as you can see, only anemia has no progress or worsening in the country. So on the left-hand side, 37.7% of women in Solomon Island aged 15 to 19 are affected by anemia. It's also a low and middle income country, and then tackling anemia right now is also in line with the June 2025 policy. So root cause analysis. So anemia, as we have identified, is a multifaceted issue coming from lack of nutritional education, diet, and gender inequality. And then also we have looked at different existing approach. So in the context of Solomon Island, we have found that fortification of rice is not necessarily relevant because most of the Solomon Island community eat like cassava, so rice is not really like a first option. And also integrated school program, while effective in other countries, are not necessarily effective here in the country because of the fact that 9 out of 10 girls have not finished high school. And it's also not very relevant in this country as well.
Free for Her fits into the Bantong system, which is a system that Solomon Islands works by. It focuses on people, prosperity, and planet. It applies to all three because it is sustainable and it helps the people of Solomon Islands compact the problems they're facing. We are harnessing materials they're familiar with so that they'll be more acceptable to the solutions we provide them. Kangkong leaves and taro leaves are both rich in iron, with kangkong leaves having 6.8 milligrams per 100 grams, which really goes a long way in achieving the 18 milligrams per day, which is required for women to have. Papaya also helps in absorption of the iron because in plants there is no heme iron, which is harder to be absorbed by the body, and the vitamin C in papaya helps it absorb better. We're utilizing the existing systems such as community gardens and utilizing them to provide an opportunity for the women to grow their own iron-rich foods. And the community garden idea we're proposing is a 3-tier option where the topsoil contains rock dust as well as compost and topsoil. The rock dust will be from metamorphic rocks such as basalt and granite, which have trace materials including iron, and grinding them up will mean they can be absorbed better by the plants.
As with our educational initiative, Fee for Her will essentially be community gardens as well as cooking lessons that teach people how to grow iron-rich foods as well as producing iron-rich produce, right? And also the reason we're targeting churches is because there's a high rate of church attendance by women, as well as women-led churches as well. So some of the risks that we identified were that existing beliefs might limit education, as well as just an overall lack of urgency. So we want to incorporate the program with International Anemia Day, as well as using active learning solutions like cooking and gardening. So for our 1-year timeline, we want to initially create meetings with local churches as well as women empowerment groups and train up people to be able to lead these gardens and these cooking lessons. We also have a strong focus on cooking with indigenous foods that are high in iron that we mentioned earlier. Our impact is that we want to initially reach 1,300 women and girls. The most common nutritional cause of anemia is through iron deficiency as well as other lack of vitamins. That's why to change the diet, we're proposing essentially using existing infrastructure, existing structures, and collating it all into one initiative. And these are some of the financials that we drew up as an estimate for our community gardens for Fee for Her. Thank you and good luck to all the other teams.
In the Pacific Islands, climate change has intensified droughts, increased soil salinity, and compromised freshwater supplies, undermining food systems by reducing large-scale producers' access to reliable agricultural-grade water. Vanuatu, a humid country reliant on rainwater and freshwater for agriculture, increasingly faces extreme temperatures and rising sea levels, posing a serious threat to its agricultural industry, which makes up 25% of GDP. This is especially evident during El Nino seasons, when rising sea levels cause saltwater intrusion that increases salinization of irrigation water and soil. This severely limits access to reliable farming water and is devastating for subsistence and homesteading producers who rely on consistent irrigation and freshwater to sustain their farms and communities. Sweet potato and taro, two Pacific agricultural staples, are particularly vulnerable as their growth depends on irrigated conditions and high water availability. In fact, the last El Nino season saw yields fall by 24%, affecting nearly 100,000 people. This leaves farmers and communities vulnerable to crop failures and food shortages, significantly diminishing climate resilience and increasing hunger and malnutrition. Currently, there lacks a sustainable, affordable, and locally adaptable water capture solution suited to low-resource island contexts. Our solution is the HydroWeb, a low-tech, sustainable, and scalable water harvesting system designed for the Pacific. Inspired by a 2016 study on an atmospheric water harvesting using hydrophilic surfaces and mesh structures to capture water from the air, we sought to recreate its function for low-income Pacific Islander farming communities, replacing costly high-end materials like copper mesh and silica gel with low-cost, locally available alternatives, namely recycled fishing nets, breadfruit starch-based, and a bamboo frame. It's easy to assemble, as farmers can simply follow the YouTube tutorial or our open-source guide and install the contraption on open farmland. By leveraging the Pacific's hot, humid climate, HydroWeb provides a clean, reliable agricultural water source without the need for electricity or complex and expensive infrastructure. It is estimated that 12,800 trillion litres of renewable water are available in the atmosphere in the form of water vapour that can be extracted through atmospheric water generation, making the HydroWeb an effective solution to freshwater shortages prominent in the region. Here's how HydroWeb works. Local farmers collect old fishing nets, plastic tubs or jugs, bamboo, and breadfruit peels. Machetes are used to cut and strip the bamboo, which is highly abundant and sustainable given its fast regeneration rates. Fishing nets are easy to source too, as many Pacific Island nations have highly active fishing communities. The fishing net is stretched between the two bamboo poles and secured with twine or dried straw. Breadfruit peels are boiled into a paste with water, producing a hydrophilic coating that is applied to the net. Similar to the surfactant on a spider's web, the nanocellulose in the breadfruit acts as a glue for the water, enhancing condensation and reducing wind-driven water loss. Breadfruit itself is ubiquitous in the Pacific, with each tree yielding 60 to 150 fruits annually. Yet peels are usually discarded, making them an ideal and sustainable, accessible material. Finally, a recycled plastic sheet or trough is attached to the base as a catchment. As air flows through the net, humidity condenses on the sticky surface. These droplets drip down into the catchment, feeding water to a jug or tub below. It's modular and can scale across hectares, making it viable for larger scale producers of staple crops like taro and sweet potato. Everything is open source, with YouTube tutorials, infographics, and printable instructions. We also train local builders to teach others, ensuring the effective dissemination of the design. It is estimated that HydroWeb can collect up to 1 litre of water per hour in 70% humidity, with even greater rates in the Pacific Islands, where humidity often exceeds 80%, making HydroWeb a highly effective rainfall-independent freshwater source. Designed for low resource settings, it upcycles marine waste and uses abundant, fast regenerating local resources like bamboo and breadfruit, reducing raw material costs whilst ensuring long-term sustainability. Its zero waste, zero electricity and low-tech design eliminates production and maintenance costs, making it virtually free for households and farmers in low and middle income countries. The open source design in conjunction with 100% locally sourced components also enables the rapid implementation and scaling across the Asia Pacific. The visual format of the tutorial also bypasses language barriers, ensuring effective dissemination of knowledge between different cultures. Assembly is completely DIY and community-led, requiring no technical expertise or industrial infrastructure. We'll start with a pilot program in Vanuatu, a Pacific nation facing acute water stress. From there, we aim to expand across the climate-vulnerable island nations using a community-led distribution model. By harnessing Pacific Island nations' natural climates and high humidity, HydroWeb provides a reliable, uncontaminated water source for larger farms and families in low to middle income countries, aiming to boost climate resilience in subsistence and irrigation farming. It is especially encouraged to be installed alongside taro and sweet potato plots, which account for over 50% of staple foods in the Pacific but are highly vulnerable to water shortages. This directly addresses the Sustainable Development Goal 2, end hunger, promote food security and sustainable agriculture. HydroWeb simultaneously improves food security and yields while empowering communities to build resilience against climate-driven freshwater shortages. HydroWeb is more than a tool. It's a climate-smart, community-powered innovation. By turning discarded waste into life-giving water, we help farmers adapt to a drier future, climate-proofing agricultural water sources as temperatures soar and salinity increases.
Welcome to 8 News. Tonight we are taking you to Papua New Guinea, a country battered by flash flooding as climate change exacerbates natural disasters in this region. These floods accelerate topsoil erosion, wiping out crops and fertile soil across the highlands. This has become a major issue across the country as food supplies become more critical. So how might we prevent topsoil erosion? Researchers at the University of Sydney have identified a solution using mycelium, a ridge-like structure from a fungus. This naturally occurring substance holds together the soil and promotes top water runoff. The best part? It's naturally occurring in Papua New Guinea and is beneficial for food crops. We are now joined by Dr. Jijith, food and agricultural researcher at the University of Sydney. You mentioned that your solution, MySolutions, can protect the farming land of the region. Can you talk us through how this process works?
So we're working with the Rhizophagus irregularis, which is a fungus that is found in many soils of Papua New Guinea. So we're not introducing anything foreign, we're making use of what is already present.
So what happens when the fungus is in the soil?
So once the spores touch soil, they germinate and they start to form these hyphae, which are these thin filament-like threads that essentially then form a net, and this net is called a mycelium. So these mycelium filaments wrap around the root tips and soil particles, and they essentially link them together, making it very hard for them to move away in periods of heavy rain.
So does this directly tackle erosion?
So topsoil erosion is one of the biggest issues that our farmers face, and when soil is lost, it's not just the ground that's thinning, it's also the nutrients. So our approach aims to solve both. It aims to stabilize the soil and boost nutrient access.
How does that help the nutrients?
So the fungus improves nutrient delivery, especially phosphorus. Now, Papua New Guinea soils are rich in iron and aluminum oxides, but this locks away phosphorus from the plants. Rhizophagus irregularis would bypass that barrier and deliver phosphorus directly into the root system. So you get stronger and healthier crops with less need for synthetic fertilizers.
Does this affect the crop in any way?
Not at all. It supports the crop. So it doesn't interfere with how the plant grows, and it doesn't touch the edible parts. So no mushrooms, no toxins, just better access to resources.
In your research, you've mentioned that you need agricultural byproducts for this fungus to work. What role does that play?
So it's the key. The waste would provide the carbon and the nitrogen that the fungus needs to grow. We aim to have a 30:1 carbon to nitrogen ratio, which is a balance that gives spores energy as well as building blocks. So the waste also improves soil function by keeping it porous and aerated, which is especially useful in PNG's wet soils.
Are farmers already using this?
We're trialling it with several farmers right now, and the early signs are very promising. The crops are visibly healthier, we have less runoff and richer soil.
We actually get to meet one of these farmers today. Please welcome Farmer Pratul from the Papua New Guinea's highland region. As a sweet potato farmer, he supports the production of 43% of the food energy in Papua New Guinea.
I'm a sweet potato farmer here, and yeah, the floods are bad. They always come in, take my soil away from my crops, and the crops just fail.
That's really unfortunate. So what happened this year that was different?
Yeah, so this year, it's the season of my sweet potato crop. I used mycelium, and I've noticed like my soil does not run away as much, and like even in the case of flash floods, my crop has still been healthy and pretty good.
So what's the process like as a farmer?
Oh, it's pretty simple. I haven't had to do anything more than I do usually. I have a lot of agricultural waste from my harvest, so I just use that and put it in a compost bin. I have some friends who grow like bananas and coconuts and coffee, and I take their leftover materials as well, put it in the compost bin. After like 4 to 6 weeks, I have brand new compost. I just mix in my fungi spores into that and plant it when I plant my new sweet potato crop. Now, I don't need to procure this fungus the very first time, and every subsequent times, I just get it again from the crops that I harvest. And it's a loop. It doesn't cost me anything. It's cheap, it's sustainable, and I love it. My crops are great. My soil doesn't erode anymore, so I'm a happy farmer.
Now, looking at the affordability and sustainability of the solution, we are joined by Dr. Chopra, humanitarian engineer at the University of Sydney. Hi, Dr. Chopra. So how can this be integrated into Papua New Guinea?
Our mycelium-based biofertilizer requires 60 grams of Rhizophagus irregularis spores per hectare, costing $8.40 USD, 20 times cheaper than the $172 farmers spend on NPK fertilizers per hectare. The cost of compost itself is virtually non-existent, as farmers can create their own from their agricultural waste. Once applied, the fungus reproduces naturally, allowing farmers to reuse spores from their own fields, cutting long-term costs.
So from this, we can see that My Solution isn't just a product, it's a pathway to resilience. Designed for flood-prone Papua New Guinea, our mycelium-based solution naturally strengthens soil structure, reducing erosion and retaining vital nutrients. By addressing both the physical degradation and soil health, My Solution empowers farmers to adapt to climate change without disrupting their existing practices. It's low cost, scalable, and sustainable, because true innovation doesn't just fight the problem, it grows with the people who need it the most.
Gosh, they were some incredible submissions. You should all be so proud of what you've achieved this weekend. The winners will be officially announced on World Humanitarian Day, Tuesday, 19th of August. So keep an eye on your inbox and some correspondence coming in there. And with that, we wrap up the 2025 Humanitarian Innovation Hackathon. A huge thank you to every single one of you who participated, collaborated, and hacked for good over the weekend. And a very special thank you to all of our amazing mentors and volunteers. This event simply wouldn't be possible without them. So until next time, thank you and goodbye.